Today, let's talk about the two biggest movies releasing this year, and quite possibly the two biggest films releasing since around 2019. And they're both releasing on the same day. I know I've talked about it a lot of times, but let me go in a little bit more detail in this video. December 18th is going to be Doomsday. Honestly, I've not been this excited for a cinematic event like this in a really long time. These two movies are huge, genuinely as big as it gets, absolutely enormous in scale and budget and fandom. And let me explain in this video why I think that is. Doomsday is a one of a kind. The last closest thing I can think of was Barbenheimer, but Oppenheimer and Barbie were two absolutely polar opposites in pretty much every single facet imaginable. Two completely different beasts. The tone, the vibe of the movies was completely different, and largely the audience was unique to each movie. Of course, there were people who saw both films, like myself, but Oppenheimer was clearly the film which was tailored more to my taste. So both of these movies got to share the audience pretty evenly, and we got to see that with the box office returns as well. Barbie made a huge 1.45 billion at the box office, and Oppenheimer, an R-rated biopic, made 975 million, totaling both for a hugely successful $2.42 billion. The whole Doomsday thing has a much larger ceiling, however. If we just take the last two films of each franchise, Avengers Endgame and Dune Part 2, Avengers Endgame made a gigantic, earth-shattering $2.8 billion worldwide. That is the second highest grossing film of all time. And Dune Part 2 made 715.2 million. Granted, the returns for Dune Part 2 may not seem that large in comparison, but we have to remember, this is only the second film in this entire franchise. The first film was very much for a niche audience, but the second film opened up the entire world of Dune. In my opinion, it was the best film released in the last decade. Both of these films are nuanced. Dune Part 2 was a huge critical hit, scoring a 92% critic and 95% audience rating. The word of mouth was so strong, and people are now invested in the world of Dune. Dune Part 3 has that huge momentum from Dune Part 2 going for it. Simply taking the last two films of each franchise and looking at the percentage increase, we can start to get a clearer picture of how Doomsday is going to end up. Dune Part 1 made $433 million. Part 2 made $715.2 million, which gives us roughly an increase of 65%. So following this logic with a multiplier of 1.65, we can see Dune Part 3 making $1.18 billion. Now let's follow that same logic for Avengers Doomsday. Infinity War made $2.048 billion. Endgame made $2.8 billion. I know, these films are huge. That gives us an increase of 37% roughly. So 2.8 billion with a multiplier of 1.37, hold on to your horses, will give us an absolutely insane figure. $3.836 billion. What in the world? Okay, I know Doomsday isn't making that kind of money, but are you starting to see what I'm talking about here in terms of scope and size and box office potential? The ceiling is absolutely insane to think about. Even if Dune Part 3 makes 1 billion, which I think is very doable, looking at the trajectory of the last two films, and Doomsday makes 2.5 billion, again, which I think is very plausible. I mean, look at Spiderman Brand New Day, absolutely wrecking shop at the box office. It's already made more than 2 billion, and we're just about 3 weeks in. Then we have a combined box office of $3.5 billion. Good lord. Personally, I really can't wait for December 18th. It's going to be a nerd's dream out there. I love Marvel, and I'm really digging the marketing and momentum we have building up to Doomsday now. And Dune Part 2 is one of my favorite films of all time. There is no losing for anyone, genuinely. My prediction is Dune Part 3 will be a better film, a transcendent and genuinely thoughtful piece of art. Doomsday will be the crowd pleaser, with plenty of really epic moments we'll all be talking about in years to come. Critically, Dune will score higher, but Doomsday will undoubtedly make more money, as I've already explained why. Also, Dune taking all of the IMAX screens is a huge bonus for Dune Part 3. Although I don't think that would amass to much in terms of total box office, it'll be the premium cinema going experience this December. The one everyone will want to brag about, similar to what we saw with The Odyssey. Are you excited for Doomsday? Which film excites you more? Which one are you going to watch first? I know my answer, but I'd love to hear yours. So let me know in the comments below. That was today's video. I hope you enjoyed this breakdown. If you did, please like and subscribe. It'll really help the channel as we aim for 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year, before Doomsday. Thank you all, and see you tomorrow for STM Live number 2. Until then, bye bye.